Hi everyone. There seems to be some misconception when it comes to mental disorders and diagnostic criteria and definitions. A lot of people are using certain terms, certain diagnoses wrong if they're not in the mental health profession. So I thought I would start a new series going through the DSM-5-TR, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition text revision. The DSM is generally updated. There's usually a new DSM every 10 years, I want to say. So we're a few years out from the next DSM. This was just, the TR just came out within the last couple of years. So I thought I would go through it and I would begin with personality disorders. For this video, I figured I would go over cluster B disorders. As you can see, I've got each of the disorders and chapters and areas and everything tabbed. This DSM came with this nifty color-coded thing to let me know exactly where to find each and every disorder. I use this quite a bit in my studies. I am a clinical counseling student, coming up on my second year in August. I have an associate's degree in psychology and sociology from Richland Community College. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology and criminal justice from Millikan University in Decatur, Illinois, and I am currently enrolled at Northwestern University for my master's degree in clinical counseling. So I am a counselor in training. I began my practicum this year. So let's go ahead and go over cluster B personalities. As you can see here, that would be these tabs right here. The little, not sure really what color that would be. It's kind of a purplish violet. But you have cluster A, and then cluster B, and cluster C. So we'll start with the cluster B personality disorders. Now, personality disorders generally develop via trauma in our childhood. It starts with antisocial personality disorder. It goes into narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, and histrionic personality disorder. All four of these disorders make up the cluster B personality disorders. As you can see here on page 748 is where cluster B begins. So, antisocial personality disorder is a pervasive pattern of disregard for and violation of the rights of others, occurring since age 15 years, as indicated by 3 or more of the following. Failure to conform to social norms with respect to lawful behaviors as indicated by repeatedly performing acts that are grounds for arrest. Deceitfulness as indicated by repeated lying, use of aliases, or conning others for personal profit or pleasure. Impulsivity or failure to plan ahead. Irritability and aggressiveness as indicated by repeated physical fights or assaults. Reckless disregard for safety of self or others. Consistent irresponsibility as indicated by repeated failure to sustain consistent work behavior or honor financial obligations. Lack of remorse as indicated by being indifferent to or rationalizing having hurt, mistreated, or stolen from others or another. So you have to have at least 3 of those 7 criteria since the age of 15 years old. Now, when it comes to personality disorders, we have to keep in mind, generally speaking, a personality disorder cannot be diagnosed until after the age of 25. That's when the brain stops developing. Until that point, your brain is constantly in development. So that's criteria A. So you have to meet 3 out of 7 of those. Criteria B is the individual is at least the age of 18 years old. So as I said, the brain stops developing at 25. However, according to this, you can be diagnosed at 18 years old, in between 18 and 25 years old. Much later, but they have to be at least 18 because that's when the brain starts reaching its final phases of development. There's evidence of conduct disorder with onset before age 15. And the occurrence of antisocial behavior is not exclusively during the course of schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. So in another video, we'll go back to the cluster A disorders, which include schizophrenia, schizotypal, and schizoid personality disorder. So what they're meaning here is that this disorder, these behaviors, aren't occurring because the individual has bipolar disorder or schizophrenia disorder. So you have to meet at least 3 criteria out of 7 from A. You have to meet B, meaning the individual is at least 18 years old. You have to meet criteria from C, which is there's evidence of conduct disorder with onset before the age of 15. And then you have to meet criteria D, which means the occurrence of antisocial behavior is not exclusive during the course of schizophrenia and bipolar disorders. Now, there is comorbidity factors with all mental health disorders, especially with personality disorders. There's generally, with most personality disorders, you get depression, you get anxiety, stuff like that. But according to the DSM here, the comorbidity factor with antisocial personality disorder is individuals with antisocial personality disorder may also experience dysphoria, including complaints of tension, inability to tolerate boredom, and depressed mood. They may have associated anxiety disorders, mood disorders, substance use disorders, somatic symptoms, and gambling disorder. Individuals with antisocial personality disorder also often have personality features that meet criteria for other personality disorders, particularly borderline, histrionic, and narcissistic personality disorders. The likelihood of developing antisocial personality disorder in adult life is increased if the individual experienced childhood onset of conduct disorder before the age of 10 and accompanying attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So what this means is if you have a personality disorder from cluster B, you are more likely to have related personality disorders from cluster B as well. So borderline, histrionic, narcissistic personality disorder, but it's not necessary. Generally, when people are talking about psychopaths and sociopaths, what they actually mean are individuals with antisocial personality disorder. There is no actual diagnosis of psychopathy or sociopathy. Those are just parts of antisocial personality disorder. So part of the risk and prognostic factors, the environment, the individual's environment, child abuse or neglect, unstable or erratic parenting, or inconsistent parental discipline may increase the likelihood that conduct disorder will evolve into antisocial personality disorder. So that's kind of where it comes from in the environment, the nurture part. Now, the nature part, the genetic and physiological, antisocial personality disorder is more common among the first-degree biological relatives of those with the disorder than in the general population. Biological relatives of individuals with this disorder are also at increased risk for somaticization disorder, a diagnosis that was replaced in DSM-5 with somatic symptom disorder, and substance use disorders. With a family that has a member with antisocial personality disorder, males more often have antisocial personality disorder and substance use disorders, whereas females more often have somatization disorder. And then, differential diagnoses for this, for antisocial personality disorder, are substance use disorders, schizophrenia and bipolar disorders, and other personality disorders. So the prevalence of antisocial personality disorder, it says, the estimated prevalence of antisocial personality disorder based on the probability subsample from Part 2 of the National Comorbidity Survey replication was 0.6%. The prevalence of antisocial personality disorder in the National Epidemiologic Survey on alcohol and related conditions data was 3.6%. A review of 7 epidemiological studies, 6 in the United States, found a median prevalence of 3.6%. The highest prevalence of antisocial personality disorder, greater than 70%, is among samples of men with the most severe alcohol use disorders and from substance abuse clinics, prisons, or other forensic settings. So generally speaking, when we think about antisocial personality disorder, you will find the highest number of people with antisocial personality disorder in prisons, in treatment facilities. But yeah, most of them are in prisons. These are the killers, gang members, oftentimes, especially the higher ups in the gangs. These are the racists, anyone who preys upon others without remorse. That isn't to say that everyone in prison has antisocial personality disorder. There's a key factor of being remorseful, having remorse or the ability for remorse. Being able to understand what you did was wrong and accept responsibility for it, and feeling bad for it. Generally means you don't have antisocial personality disorder. Now that isn't to say you can't have antisocial personality disorder and feel remorse. It's just generally speaking, you won't find that with antisocial personality disorder. So next time, we're going to get into borderline personality